Hey, GW coming to you live once again. Hey, we're going to talk about VHS 85 and how cool that movie is. Apparently, it's getting a lot of good reviews, and it is probably one of the best VHS films out there. And if you're familiar with the VHS franchise, you know that it's one wraparound story, a couple little stories, and we're going to get right into it because I actually thought it was one of the stronger entries in the franchise, and I told you guys the last time Shudder had bought the franchise, and only one director has come back, and is Mike Bruckner, and he does a hell of a good job. So let's dive right in. The wraparound story is called Rory, and it is about an extraterrestrial shapeshifter that is in a scientific lab and basically is learning our culture. From that little snippet, we jump right into the first story on the docket, which is called No Wake. No Wake has a connection to another story in here called Imitation Girl. And No Wake is about 4 or 5 partiers who ignore a trespassing sign to go hang out in the lake, drink beer, get crazy, have a lot of sex, and that idea they have doesn't really go as planned, as they are gunned down by an unseen sniper. From there, we get a couple of 80s commercials, one with, if you guys remember, because I do, and it was one of my favorite commercials because I just loved it. It was the anti-drinking commercial where the two glasses came in and they smashed each other. Loved it. I loved it back then, and I was glad to see it was in here, and it gives you that 80s feel. From there, we move to a story called God of Death. In God of Death, if you guys ever seen the first Wreck movie, or even, I think, VHS 2, where they had the massacre at the Japanese compound, which is pretty legendary. It's about newscasters who are preparing to do their newscast. An earthquake hits, and this is in Mexico, so this story is subtitled. And basically, they are trying to escape the building. How deep do they go? Deep enough to find a demonic entity who likes to rip out people's hearts. And it was just a pretty neat little story, very short and very gory in nature. And that's one thing about this VHS film, is that if you're a gore hound, oh my god, you're going to have so much to enjoy here. From there, we get a short story. We get more of the Rory story as that progresses throughout the whole movie. The next story, I'm going to try to say this right because it's TKNOGD is the name of the story. And basically, that is a cautionary tale about virtual reality. And it's set in a darkened room in front of a crowd. And this woman is explaining how virtual reality can become a god and everything. And the performance that she puts on goes a little extreme, as she meets up with a technology infused demon. This story, again, it's very short, very, very gory, and probably very memorable. From there, we jump to another story that has something to do with the first story called No Wake, and I call it Imitation Girl. It is about a family of serial killers who get together to celebrate when one person kills 7 people in their family. That story, again, like I just said, wraps around to the first story, so you get some clarity. And the last story on the docket has to be one of the best entries in the whole entire franchise, and I'm talking about a story called Dream Kill. Dream Kill is about a serial killer who invades people's homes when they're sleeping, mutilates them with a carving knife, one of those battery-powered ones. And a kid who you would think would be behind it is actually dreaming and can see these murders before they happen. This story is very, 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 very gory. And it's very Nightmare on Elm Street-esque, if you will. All the stories are tip top from front to back. There wasn't a weak entry here, but it seems like every director throws everything and tries to make their story the best. So you have all these stories trying to outdo each other. I was never bored. Um, and after that, we get the conclusion to the wraparound story of Rory, who I, I guess if you guys seen enough alien movies, you know aliens cannot be communicated with. Bloodbath ensues, and it ends on such a down note. So I'm looking for, actually, I'm thinking, I'm hoping that they do a VHS 86. That's what I'm hoping for. But like I said, if you're a gore hound, you're gonna love this movie. I mean, there's there's so much gore in here. There is mutilated eyeballs, mutilated bodies, bloodshed, alien eviscerations. You have, what else do you got? You have a woman who gets the bottom of her face blown off. You have gunshot wounds. You have a fingertips getting cut off in that last story. And wonder if they saw the Nine Inch Nails film Broken, because there's a lot of that in there. That's only on YouTube, by the way, and it's very graphic. So much gore that, by the end of the movie, even Imitation Girl had a hell of a police shootout in it. As did, yeah, basically every story is pretty much gore filled. The other thing is the acting was top notch. There wasn't a bad bit of acting. Everyone seemed to play their roles either very seriously or very cool. A lot of these actors are talented. I wish I could see them in bigger roles. The only thing is that first story, No Wake, does have a little bit of black comedy in it, because I shouldn't say black, I should say dark comedy, because the people that are murdered are actually still alive. And there's a revenge plot in there, but I don't know if it was fully fleshed out. And that's, like I said, because every director in the place is shooting for the moon, and I think some things got lost in transition. But if you're looking for, one of the strongest entries in the VHS franchise, definitely check out VHS 85. It is very, very good. It's a lot better than some of the previous entries. So I'm probably going to buy this one on DVD. Now, VHS 94, I think it's a big step up. And like I said, Bloody Disgusting did take it over, and they pretty much put the capper on it. So, like I said, I'm looking for VHS 86. That's what I'm looking for. But VHS 85 is now streaming on Shudder. If you have the app for free, you can check it out. But no word on the DVD release yet, so I'm going to keep my eyes open. So what else we got? Oh, if you have HBO Max today, you can officially watch live sports, which I'm kind of excited about. Hockey games. It looks like they got a good chunk of the sports market locked. And what I like about it is when you get on the app, you can also watch movies about sports. So they have a wrestling and boxing section. So one would wonder that if next year AEW, who for whatever reason doesn't have a streaming service, they might partner up with Max and put all their stuff on there, because there is AEW All Access, which I recommend anybody check out. I did watch The Meg 2, and I am going to review that film right now. I know it's been a few days in the making, maybe a week, but I've had a lot of personal stuff going on, and it's just been crazy. So I didn't get back to review that film. So I'm going to tell you what I think about this movie. I think it's a great summer blockbuster, but the film does lag a bit in terms of shark action. And if you haven't seen The Meg 2, or you're curious about it, I'm going to give you the rundown. Jason Statham's character is now an environmental protector. So he'll go out and he'll, try to stop people from dumping crap in the ocean, or he'll try to sabotage whatever's going on. His buddy who he's friends with in the Meg 2, actually has trained a Meg to sort of follow commands. A series of events, one of the people that Jason Statham's character trusts betrays him, and they end up finding a dumping operation in the Mariana Trench, which you guys know from the first one is where all the, Megs come out and the creatures come out. Well, they end up being stuck and have to walk across this thing. And then one harrowing situation after another, they finally get out of that. And it's a lot action packed. In fact, I read reviews and a lot of people said that less shark, more kung fu. That's what the review said. I actually liked it because we've seen a lot of shark action in the Meg, and it was good to see Jason Statham, do the Kung Fu Steven Seagal bit. I like that. What I didn't like was it seemed like the writers of this film decided to throw stuff from other movies in there, so we get a little bit of Jurassic Park with killer dinosaurs. This is the Meg. I understand why you put those dinosaurs in there. But I also understand that people purely want to go see a shark movie for shark attacks and shark violence. I get it. So I see both ends of the spectrum. The action sequences on this were very, very, I would say, adventurous and really cool. But at the end of the day, when this movie was all said and done, you kind of want to see a third one. You kind of want to see where they're going to take this thing. And again, it's on HBO Max. Definitely check it out. But it does take a little while for the shark action to get going. In fact, the last 20, 25 minutes, 35 minutes of the movie is nothing but creature violence. You have dinosaurs picking off commando squads. You have sharks running amok in the ocean, destroying everything from, tour boats with passengers on it to, unlucky swimmers, and also Jason Statham's character, Jonas. You have a giant octopus, I think it's a kraken, as a matter of fact, in there that provides some relief from the shark attack footage, but still, you got to ask the question, when is enough giant creatures terrorizing enough? I mean, is 1, 2, 3, you're going to get kind of bored. But it was a fun movie. It was a popcorn flick, and I'm not saying it was the worst movie on the face of the earth, but the writing could have been a little stronger. However, as I mentioned before, I read tons of the books. Now, if they do the third one, and they do the third one right, it's probably going to be amazing. But no word on the Meg 3 yet. But Meg 2 was a fun popcorn movie. I really dug it, and I think it was pretty cool. And again, check it out. The only thing is, it does have a long runtime. I think it's 2 hours and 15 minutes. But Jonas is, dealing with, the Meg. He's dealing with, tears in the Mariana Trench. He's also dealing with, crazed environmental destroyers. He's dealing with a lot of things. And very cool. CGI was pretty good. So definitely, I would say 7 out of 10. I'd give the Meg 2. Definitely cool. But yeah, and I did see there's a new Exorcist movie, and my hopes are not that high, guys, because nothing could capture the original Linda Blair trilogy. I don't care how bad you think 2 and 3 are. Well, I'm sorry, she wasn't even in 3. So the original 2, The Exorcist and The Exorcist 2, The Heretic, nothing could capture what those movies felt like when I first saw them. And I hope The Exorcist does good. I know this is the first in the trilogy, and the second one's slated for April 2024. So I'm hoping it does good. I'll probably end up watching it if it comes on a streaming service. But I don't know. And The Nun 2, I've heard it's really, really good or really, really bad, depending. So, anyway, one other nugget of news. If you guys love the Terrifier movies, Terrifier 3 is in production. In fact, they're going to release Terrifier 1 and 2 in theaters, from what I hear, which is really awesome. And they're going to have a sneak peek of Terrifier 3. Now, if you guys don't know Art the Clown, he's like the next big terror icon, horror icon. It's awesome. So definitely check that out. So that's GW. Definitely check out VHS 85. Definitely check out the Meg 2. And I hope everybody out there, and all my fans, all the people that watch me, all the people that listen to me, I hope you guys have a really great Columbus Day. And take the day off if you work with me, because y'all need it. So, to all my fans, thank you. To all my friends. My wife pointed out something, I've been doing this YouTube channel for a long time, and she asked me, she goes, "You get bored of it?" Nah, I don't. Because I'm able to get on here, guys, and I'm able to talk to you about movies. And I know there's a certain amount of people that watch. There's also a certain amount of people that when I sort of give nuggets about my life, or like that YouTube video I dropped yesterday, or not yesterday, last week or whatever, when I talked about the doctor's visit and I gave you an insight on a bad relationship I had. There are people out there that really care, and I really appreciate that, because it feels like the people that care get to know me on a better level, instead of just Greg the movie reviewer. They get to see what's inside, what makes me tick. You know what I mean? So I really appreciate all that. So maybe we'll have something for you tomorrow. We don't know. Anyway, peace.